Hello, everyone. My guest today is Patrick Sherwin. He's worked with solar for over 20 years and maintains a diverse background in design, social enterprise, and manufacturing. Volunteering in developing countries has inspired Patrick to create solar solutions that meet essential needs like cooking, cooling, and sanitation. That is what he is doing with his new company, GoSun.co. Patrick, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, buddy. Let's do it.
All right. So is this a pure hardware play? Is that how you're making money here?
Largely, yeah. We manufacture, we design, manufacture, market, and move product. That's right.
Very interesting. Okay, tell me what year did you launch your first product and what was the product?
It was about 7 years ago, 2013. Launched it on Kickstarter, and it was a solar oven that kind of blew away all other fuel-free devices. Cooked a meal in 20 minutes for two people. Basically vacuum insulated, so you can use it in the winter, freezing cold, clouds. It's a survival tool, great for recreation, boats, RVs, camping, and the like. And we just keep running with that same market base and same kind of needs of meeting people where they're outdoors and sort of off grid.
What was it called? Sorry, the what?
The GoSun Sport was our first product launch.
GoSun Sport, interesting. Okay, so that was in Kickstarter in what year? 2016?
2013.
2013. And how did it do on Kickstarter?
It did well. I had about 1,000 emails from people that I had gathered, colleagues. I'd been in the solar space for a long time, but on a very different, like kind of doing integration, installation work. And those people responded super well. And then, of course, it took off organically on its own because there was very little like it. And with that, GoSun was born, and I went after that 80 to 100-hour work week.
So you seeded it with 1K sort of email subscribers. How much did you end up raising from Kickstarter for GoSun Sport?
Yeah, it was a 213K over 7 weeks.
Okay, and did you deliver?
Yeah, oh yeah, we delivered over 1,000 units. It took us about 6-8 months to deliver. I thought the business model was sound and golden. I thought we would be, close to a profitable that was a long way off. It took It didn't take a ton of capital to keep GoSun alive and well. It took the better part of $200,000 to keep us alive during those first 3 years of startup doldrum. We captured another 5,000 customers, and we started paying ourselves. And
what year was that? When did you start paying yourself?
I didn't pay myself until 2017, so it was about 4 years after the first launch. Mm-hmm. I owned the bulk of the business, and that was how I paid myself, was just equity. Now I pay myself a sort of average wage, which is quite nice, and still own the company to a large extent.
That's great. So how many product launches have you done since 2013?
9, and we've done most of them on crowdfunding, Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And they've all been successful. The average is somewhere around $400,000 in pre-sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at GoSun right now, which you launched. What was this, last year? I think May 2019.
Which product?
GoSun. The GoSun Sport, the one you're just talking about.
So we've launched about 4 different ovens. We've launched a solar cooler, a series of charging and lighting solutions. We recently did a sanitation and water purification system.
I see. So this one I'm looking at, it's you have in the description, it's the GoSun Sport, portable high efficiency solar cooker, the GoSun stove, and you had 955 backers pledging $203,000 to bring the project to life. So my question to you is, I would consider you an expert, right? Top 1% in terms of Kickstarter launches, right? What is key to making these things work and successful?
Uniqueness, I think, is important. Let's see. I think we put a good spin on stuff that is also resourceful. That it's not just, wow, look at this, but man, I could use that. We don't.
And you're really good at that, by the way. I don't think you probably give yourself enough credit. But I'm looking at highly technical drawings here on the Kickstarter page where it looks like it's something out of a physics textbook, but like your labels are like infrared radiation and then like yummy food. So like the average person can understand how they could use this thing.
Definitely. That's super important. Bring it down to earth. We see a lot of people put real heady stuff on Kickstarter that might work for, a few applications, but the mainstream, we're all about trying to address mainstream. And we're here in Cincinnati, Ohio, so it's kind of ground zero with respect to the country. And if it doesn't work, like in the gut of a lot of the viewers, then you're dead in the water. And yeah, we do a good job doing that, and I'm not afraid of letting the authenticity roll from my own, like my iPhone, for example. Like a lot of our videos early on were just shot on the iPhone, and it was me kind of saying like, look, this is cool. I use it all the time. You might like it. Look at these different applications where I'm using it. Period.
How do you? A lot of people when they set up a Kickstarter, where they struggle with the most is how to set up the prize packages. Pledge X, get X, Y, and Z. How do you do that effectively? How do you drive scarcity and get people paying you like a lot of money there?
Well, the key to Kickstarter is that you want to provide like a 40% discount off of your intended MSRP. For us, since like the first products that we launched were so unique and different, we put a pretty healthy margin. So, we would say, for example, have like a 70% profit gross margin. And then for the Kickstarter, it might be like 60 or 55. So people are getting, a much better deal. And, pricing and packaging is definitely a big part of you kind of have to look into the future, grab the crystal ball. I can't really explain it.
Across online product launches, how many customers have you driven?
We have about 50,000 customers, and our emails are about 250,000. Our sort of social following is about 250,000.
So 250,000 on your email list now.
Mm-hmm.
How did you build that? Obviously, I imagine Kickstarter gives you the emails of your backers, but how are you getting the rest of these opt-ins?
We did a lot of that, and then early on, we were going to events like crazy and way too much. I'm actually kind of happy that we're in the COVID world where I don't have to go to trade shows. It was exhausting. I mean, we went to like 2 trade shows a month there for a while, and we always focused on, hey, please give us your email. You'd have an iPad or something to sign up, drop your business card in, whatever. We must have got 100,000 emails that way.
Wow.
Because we went to so many events.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so that many on the list, that basically means any future product you launch, you can raise money for it because you send one email blast and you hit your fundraising, go on Kickstarter, and then supply and demand takes over, right?
It helps so much. And I know that you're real savvy on all of this. So you're right. I mean, your product has to resonate, but I think, big part of it is that we have brand loyalty. People can trust that we'll make something that works and fits their needs. And we price things value oriented too. We're not just gouging. We're real honest folk. So I think you're right. It's pretty fun. We recently launched a tiny house, which is literally an entire home on wheels, 22 foot long, and it generated a huge amount of interest. And we're getting into manufacturing tiny houses now. Super
interesting. Okay. Well, hold on. So let's stick with the other products pre-tiny houses. So 9 launches, 50,000 customers. How much total top line revenue?
I think the number's like around 4 million
okay.
on all of our crowd funds, and then we've done 2 equity crowd fund raises as well, and those have brought in about 1.5 million in capital.
Why did you do those? Why give up equity when you can raise via pre-selling?
Well, it's still really hard to build a business, and you're going to need you need money to meet your payroll or development. And largely it's development for us, what's on the next horizon, what tools do we need, what are we going to do with international partners and, far away expensive places. So growth. And the reason we went to the crowd is because we're already, so accepted in the crowd. We were a crowd-funded company, and now we're an equity crowd-funded company.
How many folks are on the team today full-time?
About 10.
Oh, 10 of you guys. Okay, interesting. And how many of them are engineers?
Well, officially 3, and then unofficially myself, there's about 5 people that really take a heavy role in engineering.
I see. Interesting. Okay. So on 4 million then in total sales at an average margin of call it 70%. I mean, it's fair to say, you basically were sitting on something like 3 million to pay out salaries and R&D and all that stuff over the past 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, this is the piece where my model is different from a lot of folks you talk to, is because half of that money pretty much goes to my cost of goods sold. I mean, it's not half, but a big chunk, because I've got to manufacture and tool, and I've got to bring it across the oceans. I'm doing a lot of our manufacturing in Asia, but
that's included. That's the gross. You said 70% gross margin. I imagine the 30% is that, right? The cost of goods sold.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think what I don't include in my cost of goods sold is the logistics and the shipping, customer support, returns, things like that you don't have to deal with in a software play.
Interesting. Okay, so you launch these 9 products, you do 4 million in sales. You're making a healthy salary, but more importantly, you're sort of doing what you love, right? Why get into tiny houses?
It's just to grow. I've been interested in like green building my whole life. I mean, solar has been like a gateway for all these things. How to make great compost and gardens and manage water and waste and efficiency. Heating and cooling. And so it was natural for us. My two lead designers are both very into building science. And we were watching the tiny house trend just continue to ratchet up, but nobody was really addressing it from an efficiency standpoint. The houses are cute, but they're not very green. They use a ton of propane or electricity to stay warm or cool, depending on the season. So that was the main reason we saw this huge opportunity. And since we have that loyal following, we want to always be growing. And it's sort of like we've got the cooking, cooling, cleaning, and now we have the shelter to go with it.
How do you let community members like get excited together? What opportunities do you create for them to like hang out in one spot and like get excited together? Because like ultimately, when I look at what you're doing, right, you start off with a mousetrap, which is a launch in 2013 of a product that you really like, that's also really smart, looks pretty, got a lot of pre-sales. You grow your list, you hustle at trade shows. Now you have 50,000 paid customers. You got 250,000 on your list. You're launching a tiny home. I'm looking at a tiny home right now, and it's basically, this is the new shopping center floor. Instead of you paying about GoSun products on an end cap at Walmart, your audience members or your community can pay to go stay at these tiny homes where they're going to experience, and you're going to upsell all your other products to them, right, at scale, right? I mean, is that an intentional strategy? And if so, how do you accelerate that?
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And there are several models that are doing that, like an Airbnb. And you're reading my mind.
Who else is doing this though? Like besides Airbnb?
There's a cool startup called Getaway. I don't remember their exact URL.
But they don't have your products. I've used them. I've stayed at a Getaway before.
Cool.
But they don't have like cool solar products that they try and that like they build into the experience at the Getaway.
Yeah. Well, we should talk. We have a pretty robust audience on Facebook. We have this, the GoSun Solar Community Kitchen, I think it's called, and there's like 7,000 people in there, and they share their experience. We don't do it enough on other social media platforms. I'm fairly out of Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat myself. I regret that I kind of missed that boat. And so Facebook has been kind of where I interplay, and of course YouTube, and a bit on LinkedIn, but we're also not super communicative on Twitter or Reddit, or we're mostly represented on Facebook.
You're listing the dream. You call it GoSun Dream. You're listing the dream, the solar off-grid tiny house, for between $69,000 and $99,000, and they can put down a $500 deposit, sort of like a Tesla put down a deposit model. Elon sells $1 billion of down payments before the thing even exists. How many sales have you done? How many down payments of $500 have you got?
Yep. We're well over 10, and we're definitely on our way to our first 10 units in production.
Oh wow!
For 2021.
So is this? Is this going to be a margin thing? What can you produce this thing for?
Yeah, I think you're nailing it in that a lot of this is just to point at the overall lifestyle. We're not going to have a great margin on the tiny home, 10 or 15% on something that's $100,000, that's $10,000, great. But it's really about, getting people into using our products and relating to our products in these different ways, whether it's for, family fun or for kind of preparedness. And same with the experience with the home in general. And like you said, sort of the opportunity to upsell or to help people, absorb the different use case scenarios of cooking or cooling on our devices. Mm-hmm. So we think of it almost as a giant brand building marketing exercise as well.
This just to me is fascinating. Because I talk to so many founders, it is crystal clear to me that you and Getaway Around should be the same company, right? They've got software to allow bookings, manually. Right. I assume you could it's probably easier to do what you've done. Sorry, You've built the harder part, which is the physical brick and mortar, like the atoms. They've sort of built the bits, right? It's easy for you to add bits. It's probably harder for them to add the hardware. So you're probably more valuable than them. But I feel like you could do a model like what they're doing pretty darn easily if you raise some capital to build a bunch of these units and put 5 outside of every major city.
Definitely. No, I love it. And I do have a developer tinge in my blood. So that's, you're kind of reading my mind in our future growth opportunities. We're doing a lot to communicate that vision in 2021.
Yeah.
That you're going right after. You're a step ahead of it.
You should keep me I don't know how, but I'd love to participate in that somehow, whether it's from a capital perspective or just even just brainstorming every once in a while like this. I really enjoy this. I think it's the future. These curated sort of content houses, whether it's a tiny house in the middle of nowhere or a mansion in Beverly Hills where content creators are saying that all love the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and you can make these houses super smart. There's this opportunity where you pull in our app and you jump in the house and all of a sudden the app connects you to 20 smart devices and you're just like, whoa, this is so cool. I could do all these things now and be superhuman,
This is great. And you're still personally doing, I'm looking at the tiny house consultation. Your face is right there. You're still doing all the onboarding, huh?
Well, that's just how we set up the Calendly. We have some, I don't talk to everybody. We're not a big corp, and I love interfacing, especially with somebody that wants to buy the dream. Yeah. But I'm not a part of every interaction there.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I do try to be as connected to our customer as possible. We do have a customer board and we're always pitching surveys and trying to get more feedback. It really has brought us a lot of incredible ideas and improvements.
That's really cool. What else am I missing? What else should I have asked you about that I haven't asked about?
Oh, you're good. There's a part of our business that's about social entrepreneurship, and we're trying to bring our technology to 3 billion people in the world that still cook with wood and charcoal every day. And that's sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, in areas where impoverished regions where people need to break a cycle of poverty because cooking is this huge burden, not to mention, clean water and refrigeration and things. So basically we do have sort of a dual business, and our strategy is to really work towards benefit. And we're in fact launching something tomorrow, GoSun Gifts of Gratitude. Anybody that wants a GoSun, fill out a form, tell us why you want it, what you're going to do with it, and we'll give it good consideration and ship you one by the end of the year if you are a recipient.
Love that. Very good, Patrick. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite book.
Oh man, I didn't do my research. I'm sorry. I don't know your
last one you read.
The last book I read. So I really liked Crossing the Chasm.
Yeah. Jeffrey Moore, good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I dig Richard Branson.
Yep. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building GoSun?
Well, Shopify has been hooking it up. I know that's a pretty big tool.
Yeah.
But
number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
The other one I want to say is Figma. Figma has totally changed our business in the last 6 months.
Yep.
I sleep 7-8 hours.
And situation, married, single, kids?
A girlfriend, long-term girlfriend.
No kiddos running around?
She has a daughter, so I have basically a 20-year-old stepdaughter.
Okay, fair. That's great. A stepdaughter and a whole company. How old are you, Patrick?
I'm 42.
Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Something that I wished I had done.
That you knew when you were 20.
That I knew. Oh boy. I wish I'd have known more about the financial side of things. Put your money on the, and get that 8% compounding annual interest. Mm-hmm. That simple little trick. I should have done that.
Guys, GoSun launched back one product in 2013 called GoSport. Today, they've launched over 9 products, 4 million in sales. He hustled to build an email list of 250,000 people, starting at trade show, capturing business cards back pre-pandemic in 2013, 2014, 2015. Now scaling into tiny homes. Just launched one, $70,000. Got his first 10 pre-orders at $500 a pop. But most importantly, he's a definite example of how you build a great community around a product line you're building, and then with a powerful community, you can really expand to anything you want. Patrick, we're rooting for you. Thanks for taking us to the top.
Nice. You nailed that, Nathan. Thank you very much for having me.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.